A global royal crisis unfolds behind closed doors. Published. The 15th of November 2025 special report. In an extraordinary and unprecedented move in modern royal history, Buckingham Palace confirmed at 9:42 a.m. today that Camilla, formerly Queen Consort, has been formally stripped of her title and instructed to vacate all royal residences with immediate effect. The announcement, delivered through an emergency press bulletin from St. James's Palace, marks the most dramatic internal rupture within the House of Windsor since the abdication of Edward VIII in 1936. The statement, brief, stark, and almost surgically cold, read, "Following an internal constitutional review and consultation with senior members of the royal household, His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Prince Regent have jointly determined that Camilla will step down from all royal duties and relinquish her standing within the crown." According to senior insiders, the events leading up to this morning's announcement had been quietly accelerating for weeks. Tensions within the royal household, particularly between Prince William, Princess Catherine, Princess Anne, and Camilla, had reached a breaking point by early November. Multiple palace officials confirmed that the decisive blow came late on the night of November 14, after a closed-door meeting at St. James's ran more than 5 hours and involved senior members of the Privy Council. One aide described the atmosphere as icily disciplined, no shouting, no arguments, just a sense that a conclusion had finally arrived. Another insider added, "Everyone knew what the outcome would be. Camilla knew it. The moment the meeting was scheduled, the writing was on the wall." Sources familiar with the discussions say the decision was reached unanimously among senior working royals, William, Catherine, Anne, and the King's constitutional advisors, with King Charles himself reportedly somber but resolute. Multiple palace observers note that Prince William, now functioning as Prince Regent, has wielded a firm, unshakable authority in recent weeks. His stance on royal reform, codified under the widely discussed Windsor Reset, left little room for ambiguity. And Camilla's alleged attempts to undermine or circumvent several aspects of the reform accelerated her fall from favor. A senior Kensington Palace advisor stated, "The Prince Regent made it clear, the crown must serve the nation, not internal alliances. Any threat to the stability or credibility of the monarchy would be addressed immediately." Behind the scenes, it was William who insisted that any resolution must be decisive, transparent, and irreversible. According to several insiders, he pushed strongly for Camilla's removal from both the public stage and the internal machinery of the monarchy. While Princess Catherine has avoided public comment, palace staff report that she has been a stabilizing force behind the scenes. Having long championed a modern, empathetic vision of monarchy, she reportedly supported William's decision to restore moral clarity within the institution. One aide described Catherine's influence this way: "Where William brings authority, Catherine brings legitimacy. The nation trusts her. Her presence made the transition feel grounded rather than punitive." Sources say Catherine was instrumental in preparing a public engagement strategy following Camilla's removal, focusing on calming public emotion while reinforcing trust in the Windsor Reset. No royal appears to have been more adamant about Camilla's removal than Princess Anne. Known for her no-nonsense fidelity to duty, Anne is said to have warned Charles and William in early November that the monarchy was drifting into dangerous ambiguity, and that Camilla's continued influence risked becoming a constitutional liability. One senior courtier summarized Anne's stance: "She does not tolerate disorder. In her view, Camilla's behavior, political maneuvering, internal lobbying, interference in appointments crossed a line. No consort should cross." Anne, insiders say, was pivotal in rallying support from senior household officials. While the public waits for a comment from Camilla, palace insiders report that she reacted with controlled fury upon being informed last night. She allegedly accused William of orchestrating a personal vendetta and warned Charles that he had allowed his son to dismantle the family from within. One aide claimed she attempted a last-minute appeal to the king, invoking loyalty in marriage, but Charles remained deeply conflicted yet unwavering. By dawn, Camilla's staff had already begun packing personal belongings at Clarence House. She departed through a side gate under discreet escort just after 8:15 a.m. As Britain absorbs the shock, questions swirl. What triggered the final decision on November 14? How much influence did William truly exert? Will Camilla attempt a counter-narrative? And most pressing of all, is this the beginning of a new era or the opening of an unprecedented royal power struggle? Those questions will shape the narrative in the coming days, and this report will explore them in depth. Published. El 15 de noviembre de 2025 special report. Continued. As the rain fell quietly over the stone facades of St. James's Palace on the evening of November 14, few outside the royal walls realized the gravity of what was unfolding inside. Within the Queen Anne room, a solemn gathering had been called. No press notice, no official calendar entry, no royal standard raised. The monarchy's most senior figures were meeting to decide the fate of one of its most controversial members. By 6:30 p.m., only a select few had been admitted: King Charles, Prince William, Princess Anne, Lord Chamberlain, Andrew Parker, and a pair of trusted constitutional advisors. Notably absent, Queen Camilla. Insiders close to the Prince Regent confirmed that William arrived carrying a red dispatch box not with foreign documents, but with a compiled dossier titled simply, Consolidation. Internal Misuse of Royal Privilege, August-November 2025. The dossier, assembled over weeks, detailed instances where Camilla allegedly bypassed proper protocol, particularly in royal patronage decisions, unilateral staff appointments within Clarence House, an unsanctioned meeting with a cultural delegation from Belgium concerning royal artifacts without informing the Sovereign Grant Office, evidence of financial overreach in events involving Camilla's children. It wasn't criminal, but in the monarchy, procedure is power, and Camilla had breached too many of them. A senior aide told this publication, this wasn't about scandal, it was about structure. The crown was being reshaped behind the king's back, and William saw it as a threat. Sources say the discussion remained civil until Princess Anne demanded clarity. According to a witness inside the chamber, Anne stood, quiet and sharp as ever, and said, "The monarchy is not a court of private ambitions. Either we return to order, or we accept collapse in slow motion." She placed her hand on the desk next to a printed copy of a leaked transcript, in which Camilla had allegedly implied that William's reforms were rooted in maternal resentment and elitist control. It was the final straw. King Charles sat largely silent through the first hour of deliberations, according to two sources. Though visibly tired, his health reportedly in fragile condition following recent treatments, his mind was sharp. When he did speak, his words were sparse. "She meant well," he reportedly said, referring to Camilla. "But intent cannot justify overreach." It was Charles who ultimately gave the green light for a joint decision with William. In a quiet, nearly whispered voice, he concluded, "The crown survives not by protecting comfort, but by upholding clarity." There was no formal ballot, only a verbal agreement unanimous. At 8:46 p.m., the council confirmed 3 resolutions. Camilla's title as Queen Consort would be formally rescinded. Her office and ceremonial roles would be dissolved effective immediately. She would vacate Clarence House within 24 hours. Within minutes, documents were prepared. The final royal decree was signed at 9:32 p.m., stamped with both Charles's seal and William's regency mark. Palace staff confirmed that Camilla was notified at 10:15 p.m. In a private conversation with King Charles, she did not shout, she did not weep, but she did not stay. By 8:15 a.m. the next morning, her car departed quietly from the side gate of Clarence House. As one palace insider described, she left behind no public statement, but the silence spoke volumes. As Camilla is exiled, a new royal court begins to rise with discipline, compassion, and purpose at its core. Published, El 15 de noviembre de 2025, a special report continued. While the public may view the royal upheaval as a conflict between princes and crowns, the real architects of stability behind the throne have been women too. In particular, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and Princess Anne, the Princess Royal. In the 24 hours since Queen Camilla's title was rescinded and her residence vacated, the mood within royal households has shifted from tense anticipation to measured reconstruction. Inside Kensington Palace, Windsor Castle, and even Sandringham, a new working court has begun forming, not in defiance of tradition, but in defense of it. At its center are the women now being quietly hailed as the steady hands of the crown. From the moment William assumed Prince Regent authority on October 23, insiders confirm that Catherine has taken on an expanded advisory role. Described by staff as disciplined yet gentle, her influence is said to be strategic, not just emotional. She's not only the heart of the monarchy's image, a senior aide tells us, she's becoming part of its institutional memory. She holds William to his values and holds the public's trust with elegance. Following Camilla's removal, Catherine's private office has already absorbed several ceremonial functions previously overseen by the Queen Consort's team. Key among them, planning for the spring 2026 coronation, which Catherine now co-leads alongside the Lord Chamberlain, overseeing revisions to the Royal Patronage Charter, ensuring that funding flows toward results-driven charities, coordinating public appearances to stabilize the monarchy's emotional tone in the wake of the crisis. According to a senior press secretary, the tone of Catherine's direction is clear. The public must never see division, only direction. If Catherine is the monarchy's soft power, Princess Anne is its iron core. As Princess Royal, Anne has long been the monarchy's most diligent and respected figure, with a reputation for tireless service and principled decision-making. In the current crisis, her voice has taken on new significance. Multiple sources confirm that Anne now holds temporary oversight of royal ceremonial governance, including the management of honors, military orders, and state protocols. She also presides over the internal Windsor Integrity Committee, formed quietly in late October to monitor the transition of authority. A former equerry, now retired, shared this insight. Anne always played the long game. She saw the cracks before anyone else, and she wasn't afraid to say what others wouldn't. Anne has also become a bridge between generations. She holds regular weekly briefings with Prince William and has become a key advisor to Princess Catherine in matters of institutional etiquette, especially as Catherine prepares to assume the Queen's ceremonial mantle in all but name. With Camilla's departure, Clarence House has been restructured, and a new advisory group, informally dubbed the Circle of Six, has taken shape to lead the monarchy into its next chapter. Its members include Prince William, Prince Regent, and Executive Sovereign; Princess Catherine, lead royal patronage strategist and public liaison; Princess Anne, chair of the Windsor Integrity Committee; Prince Edward, special envoy on Commonwealth affairs; Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, director of royal charitable audits; the Duke of Kent, senior historical advisor, reinstated in a ceremonial role. This modernized inner circle reflects both streamlining and accountability, two tenets of the Windsor Reset, which was launched just 3 weeks before the Camilla crisis erupted. According to a YouGov flash poll conducted on the morning of November 15, 78% of respondents approved of the monarchy's response to Camilla's departure. An even higher 83% expressed confidence in Catherine and Anne's stewardship of royal duties. Even commentators typically skeptical of the monarchy have acknowledged the strength of the court's current female leadership. Historian Dr. Eloise Banbury, speaking on BBC Radio 4, noted, "We are witnessing something rare in royal history. A peaceful transfer of soft power, not just from one generation to another, but from one model of femininity to another." Camilla represented survival. Catherine and Anne now represent structure. While many uncertainties remain, especially regarding Camilla's long-term status and public rehabilitation, one thing is clear. The House of Windsor is no longer simply leaning on pageantry. It is reorganizing itself from the inside, led not by nostalgia, but by necessity. Anne's precision and Catherine's poise have created the first functional female-led stabilization effort in modern monarchy, with William providing the constitutional spine. And in the shadows of the palace halls, where whispers once carried doubt, there is a new sound: quiet confidence. Stripped of her title and banished from the royal court, Camilla plots her next move from the edge of power. Published. El 15 de noviembre de 2025, a special report. Continued. As the royal motorcade pulled away from Clarence House at dawn on November 15, only a single car followed behind a discreet, unmarked sedan carrying Camilla Rosemary Parker Bowles, formerly Queen Consort of the United Kingdom. By the time Londoners were settling into their morning commute, she had already arrived at her private estate in Wiltshire, a secluded property known as Ray Mill House. This is not the first time Camilla has withdrawn from the spotlight, but never before under such circumstances. Disempowered, disgraced, and alone. Located just outside Laycock, Wiltshire, Ray Mill House is far from the ornate grandeur of Buckingham or Balmoral. Purchased by Camilla in 1995, it had long served as her private refuge during Charles's early reign. Staff once described it as the only place she could breathe. Hell. Today, it is her only remaining royal residence, unofficial and unsanctioned. Security around the property has been heightened. 2 former palace guards, reassigned discreetly by King Charles, now work under private contract to ensure her safety, though without any formal police detail. A skeleton staff maintains the home, but the grand entrances and visiting dignitaries are gone. The gravel drive is silent. Camilla, for the first time in over 2 decades, is without a public role, without a court, and some say without a plan. Palace insiders and longtime observers caution that Camilla's silence should not be mistaken for surrender. "She's furious," said one former aide who spoke on condition of anonymity, "not at Charles but at William. She sees this as a personal vendetta masked in reform. She thinks she was erased to cleanse Diana's ghost." Others believe Camilla is gathering her version of the truth, with rumors surfacing of a private memoir already in development. While Buckingham Palace refused to comment on the speculation, 2 London publishers confirmed they'd heard quiet conversations about a first-hand account of the modern monarchy from within. One source claims that Camilla kept personal notes for years, tracking key moments, private exchanges, and even handwritten letters from King Charles. Notes that could form the basis of a powerful, if controversial, counter-narrative. Camilla's once powerful loyal circle, an informal group of advisors and confidants, has reportedly splintered. Rupert Kane, the former journalist who advised her on media strategy, is said to have returned to private consulting. Fiona Lyle, the political strategist rumored to be behind Camilla's ceremonial ambitions, has remained silent, though her name appeared in a leaked WhatsApp message indicating total disillusionment. Even within aristocratic circles, support is waning. The Duke of Gloucester, who initially criticized William's reforms, is now reportedly distancing himself from Camilla's cause, concerned the public fallout could damage the broader family. A planned petition to the House of Lords, allegedly spearheaded by Camilla loyalists to challenge the Windsor reset, has quietly been shelved. In the aftermath of her removal, Camilla has made no public statements. Her press team has been dissolved. Her official portraits were taken down at Clarence House by midday. Her biography on the royal family website was updated within 6 hours, now referring to her simply as Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, retired. But the silence, sources warn, is strategic. One communications expert familiar with past palace crises believes she is allowing public sympathy to swell before making a move. Polls, however, offer little comfort. A BBC, divided by YouGov poll, released hours ago, shows only 22% of respondents support her return to public duties. 61% believe the monarchy made the right decision. Still, Camilla's support base is not gone. Several legacy charities have published statements thanking her for decades of unwavering service, and an open letter signed by 14 cultural leaders praised her literary and heritage advocacy. But the tide has turned. King Charles, still battling undisclosed health challenges, remains at Highgrove House under medical supervision. According to a courtier, he has been deeply affected by the fallout, but continues to support William's leadership without compromise. Camilla and Charles have not been photographed together since the Festival of Remembrance on November 8th. While sources confirm they remain in contact, there has been no confirmation of a reunion or planned visit. One royal historian observed, "This may be the most emotionally taxing moment of Charles's reign. He chose duty over devotion, and now he may live with the cost." There is no official word on Camilla's future. Palace protocol has not accounted for a living former consort in modern times. She holds no royal title, no formal duties, and no constitutional standing. She may eventually return to select charity work in a personal capacity, but under what name and with what authority remains unresolved. Her children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes, have likewise retreated from the public eye. Their patronages were suspended, their security scaled back, their future roles all but erased. The woman once known as the power behind the throne now walks the grounds of a country home, invisible to the monarchy she once helped steer. Camilla's story has entered its third act, not as queen, not as consort, but as the only living royal figure to be formally removed from power without scandal. Her path forward is uncertain, but history suggests exile has a way of breeding legacy, for better or worse. Is she planning a return, a reveal, or will she vanish into dignified silence? Only time and perhaps one carefully timed manuscript will tell. With Camilla gone and the crown reset, a new chapter of royal symbolism is being written by a future king and queen who know the power of purpose. Published. El 15 de noviembre de 2025 a special report, continued. Inside a private conference room deep within Windsor Castle, the outlines of a royal revolution are quietly being drafted. A coronation unlike any seen in British history is now taking shape, not as a pageant of inherited grandeur, but as a reaffirmation of public service and moral renewal. The spring 2026 coronation of Prince William is no longer just a ceremonial passage of power. In the wake of Camilla's removal and a national reckoning over tradition versus relevance, it has become a moment to define what monarchy means in the 21st century, and more importantly, who it serves. Sources close to the Coronation Planning Council confirm that the ceremony, tentatively set for the 18th of April 2026, will depart significantly from the last coronation in 1953. Led by Princess Catherine, in collaboration with senior palace officials and a citizen advisory panel, the blueprint is being called the People's Coronation. Key features include reduced pageantry. Many archaic rituals will be cut, with a focus on personal oaths, service pledges, and symbolic unity. Public participation. Representatives from all 54 Commonwealth nations, as well as NHS workers, teachers, and climate scientists, will be given speaking roles and ceremonial honors. Interfaith blessings. For the first time, multiple religious leaders will be invited to offer a joint prayer of harmony, emphasizing inclusivity and diversity. No separate consort crowning. With Camilla removed and Catherine not yet titled queen, the ceremony will avoid the traditional crowning of a consort, a powerful symbolic shift. One insider described the plan this way: William doesn't want to be crowned above the people. He wants to be crowned among them. Perhaps the most emotionally resonant element of the upcoming coronation is the decision to create a new crown for William, one that integrates elements from both Queen Elizabeth II's reign and the legacy of Princess Diana. Instead of the historic St. Edward's crown, which has been used since the 17th century, William will be crowned with a modern design crafted by British artisan jeweler Elspeth Winthrop, using recycled Welsh gold, symbol of unity, ethically sourced sapphires and emeralds from Commonwealth territories, a single diamond repurposed from Diana's personal collection, set at the center of the cross, atop the crown. According to sources, it was Princess Catherine's idea to include Diana's jewel, saying, "This crown should not erase the past, it should carry it forward with care." Although not yet officially queen, Catherine's presence and influence over the coronation process is unmistakable. As the first future monarch's spouse to be directly involved in coronation planning, she is overseeing design consultations with female artists and historians, a children's council, gathering input from students across the UK on what leadership and kindness mean, a special Path of Promise procession, where children from diverse backgrounds will walk ahead of William to symbolize the next generation. She's building a monarchy that looks outward, a palace insider said, and she's doing it while carrying the memory of two powerful women, Elizabeth's discipline and Diana's compassion. Since news of the coronation redesign began to leak earlier this week, public interest has surged. The hashtag number Crown for the People trended across British social media platforms. Editorials in both The Guardian and The Telegraph praised the shift, calling it a rare moment of sincere reinvention. One viral clip shows William speaking to school children during a visit to Leeds earlier this month. Sitting cross-legged among them, he asked, "If you were king or queen for a day, what would you do?" The answers ranged from more trees to free school lunches for everyone. It's that ethos, practical, kind, rooted in everyday hopes, that William and Catherine now seek to infuse into the monarchy itself. The coronation's tone will be noticeably affected by Camilla's removal. Traditionally, the queen consort's role in the crowning ceremony serves as both a symbolic partnership and a stabilizing presence. Now, for the first time in modern history, the ceremony will proceed without a crowned consort. There will be no substitution, no replacement, a planning official confirmed. This isn't about filling a gap, it's about shifting the narrative. Catherine, though not yet crowned, will accompany William during key segments, but she will not wear regalia, nor receive a separate anointing. That decision, subtle but potent, marks a quiet censure of Camilla's tenure, while highlighting Catherine's humility and emotional restraint. Beyond the UK, the upcoming coronation has sparked renewed interest in the monarchy's global standing. Several nations that once expressed skepticism about retaining the monarchy, Barbados, Jamaica, Australia, have issued statements welcoming the changes. Even Republican critics have acknowledged the significance of the event. Columnist Malini Raval of the Times of India wrote, "This isn't a coronation of conquest, it's a ceremony of conscience." At a time when monarchies are being questioned across the world, William and Catherine's choices could determine whether the House of Windsor survives not just structurally, but spiritually. The coronation of spring 2026 will not be remembered for its gold or jewels. It will be remembered for what it leaves behind and what it dares to change. After the downfall of Camilla and the cleansing winds of reform, the monarchy stands at a rare threshold. As one royal historian said this morning, this is not just the crowning of a king, it's the rebirth of a covenant. And William, walking forward, not in armor, but in understanding, seems ready to bear both the weight and the will of a people-first crown. As the crown moves forward, new rules are etched in history, and one fallen consort becomes a cautionary tale for all who enter the royal arena. Published. The 15th of November 2025 Special Report. Final Chapter. The morning following Camilla's removal from royal standing, a flurry of documents was quietly signed at Windsor Castle. Among them was a text long in development but held back until the moment was right. A historic framework known now as the Windsor Charter. Its unveiling today, the 15th of November 2025, signaled not only a turning point in the British monarchy, but the codification of a new royal philosophy: purpose over privilege, integrity over legacy. and transparency over tradition, authored by a special constitutional subcommittee led by Princess Anne, with legal advisors and input from Prince William. The Windsor Charter is not a replacement for Britain's constitutional monarchy, but it is the most significant internal reform since the 1936 abdication crisis. Its primary tenets include royal accountability. All working royals must submit annual transparency reports, detailing time spent in public service and sources of funding. Conflict of interest prohibition. Royals may not accept positions or benefits from private or corporate entities that create perceived or real conflicts with Crown duties. Public service mandate. Working royals are now required to fulfill a minimum of 120 public service days annually, verified by the Office of the Regent. Consort role clarification. Any future queen or king consort will be bound to non-executive ceremonial duties, with no oversight powers in governance, patronage distribution, or royal appointments. Succession transparency. The royal family must maintain and publish a line of succession, public archive, updated annually, though unofficially dubbed the Camilla Clause. The section on consort limitations is a direct response to Camilla's perceived overreach and influence. Its unveiling today, the 15th of November 2025, signaled not only a turning point in the British monarchy, but the codification of a new royal philosophy: purpose over privilege, integrity over legacy, and transparency over tradition. Since September, George has been receiving private instruction in constitutional law and ethics, modern British history, with a focus on royal responsibility, civic engagement, with field visits to local councils and youth parliaments. Sources say William and Catherine are committed to a slow, deliberate preparation, not a gilded grooming. George's public appearances remain limited, and he will not assume any formal role until at least age 16. A court insider noted, "The monarchy under William will not raise princes. It will raise public servants." Moreover, there are early plans for a national tour of understanding, a years-long program launching in 2027, during which George will travel across the UK and Commonwealth nations, not to be celebrated, but to listen. Though Camilla has not made a public statement since her removal, her absence is felt as strongly as her presence once was. The royal household's official site now lists her among former consorts, retired. Her portraits have been removed from staterooms, and her official correspondence archives were sealed today and transferred to the Royal Archives at Windsor. Sources confirm that she has declined all public interviews and has suspended any activity with her remaining charities. Ray Mill House remains under private security surveillance, but palace staff no longer report to her. Yet rumors continue to swirl. A memoir manuscript remains a possibility, with whispers of encrypted files passed to trusted publishers. Several foreign tabloid outlets are reportedly offering substantial sums for exclusive access. Some believe she may attempt to reinvent herself as a public intellectual, using her experience to critique institutional structures. Still, most expect she will fade into dignified retreat, as did Wallis Simpson nearly a century ago, a woman whose proximity to the crown became her undoing. With Camilla's departure and the coronation approaching, the question looms: can the monarchy remain relevant without leaning on spectacle, hierarchy, or old codes of silence? Royal historian Dr. Thomas Ellington believes it can if it continues the current trajectory. The monarchy has survived revolutions, abdications, even war, but its greatest test was always relevance. William and Catherine may be writing the answer not with declarations, but with design. Eva Ree. Polls now show public trust in the monarchy at 67%, its highest point since the Diamond Jubilee in 2012. Support among 1-8-3-4-year-olds has risen to 58%, a sign that reform, not rhetoric, is making an impact. The monarchy's new identity is less about command and more about conscience. In the aftermath of a dramatic fall from grace and the institutional reshaping that followed, the House of Windsor is no longer just surviving, it's evolving. The final image from today's palace release is telling. A simple photo of William and Catherine walking across the Long Walk at Windsor, flanked by George, Charlotte, and Louis. No throne, no crown, just a family, a nation, and a long road ahead. In the end, Camilla's removal will be remembered not for scandal, but for its symbolism. She became the first queen consort in modern history to lose her title not because of infidelity, treason, or corruption, but because of something more subtle, yet just as dangerous: overreach. And William, rising in her shadow, chose not revenge, but restructuring. For some, this is justice. For others, tragedy. But for the monarchy, it is the only path forward. "The crown doesn't belong to blood," said Princess Anne in a rare off-the-record comment this morning. "It belongs to belief." And we're rebuilding that belief, one page at a time.